Who do you fancy in the current leadership race? Because you haven't nailed your colours to the mast so far. You've been quite quiet about who you're going to support. And who you're going to support will probably be quite influential because of your history in the party. You're a veteran. You're called a grey hair.
Ouch.
I mean, maybe you might... I know, I'm sorry to call you that, but that's the truth. I thought perhaps you might fancy Tom Tugendhat purely on the basis that he's quite hawkish, for instance, on China and Russia and foreign affairs, but yet people think he's a bit wet. Got Badenoch, you've got your friend Priti Patel, who I know you're close with personally. James Cleverley's about to come into the studio. Who might you put your money on?
Well, they're all, I think, there. I don't have a particular favourite at the moment. I've not deliberately just said I'm not going to talk about it. I promised that I would, after a very gruelling election, I was going to have some time off.
Yes.
To do the things that I really wanted to do away from politics, which I've been doing. I just got back yesterday. And I promised all of them I will think very carefully about it before I cast my vote. No. I don't at the moment and haven't made a decision. There is, for me, no standout right now.
But what will convince you most? Because I was saying earlier when we were doing the paper review, you know, I can't still believe that you've got people like Andy Street, lovely guy, former Tory mayor for West Midlands, saying, you know, we've got to fight the next election from the centre. We can't fight it from the right. And I think righties listening and watching this programme think, if you're a Tory saying you shouldn't be fighting an election from the right, you may as well go and join the Liberal Democrats.
Well, actually, I wrote a piece about this for The Telegraph about 2.5 weeks ago, and I said, I wish people would stop talking about the centre ground. It's non-existent. It's a political mystery to me. I go back to the Thatcher days when Keith Joseph, who was the brilliant architect of most of what she did with great courage, talked about the common ground. Now, the common ground is a different element altogether. The common ground in politics is about where the public are. You have to find that common ground with them that you will be able not just to appeal to them, but govern from. So you understand their fears, their aspirations, where they want the country to go and what they're worried about in their own lives. You've seen it with migration.
Yes.
You've seen it with worklessness. You've seen it with lacks of training. I mean, if you look at the UK at the moment, the Labour government is in with a huge majority, but the lowest poll rating any government has ever achieved.
The lowest vote share,
33%, 33%, just over 33%. At least Blair got 44% when he got elected, and we got 43, I think.
Well, even Corbyn
in
got
2019.
higher than Keir Starmer's
So this is therefore just the way the electoral system works, because the division was split. But the main bit about this is that they are not pitched on the common ground. You know, with the unions, with these pay demands, we're going to see this unravel, whereas with Blair, there was a lot of popular support there. There isn't right now. So where the Conservative Party's got to look for right now, the common ground is not the centre ground. The centre is just some mushy place where people go to say, I'm not one thing or the other.
Yeah.
Politics is about declaring who you are, focusing on the public. The public wants certain things sorted out, and they're angry. They're angry with us because we were in government, quite rightly, because we promised migration control, we didn't get it. We promised that we would deliver all of the benefits of Brexit. We hadn't done. I wish people would stop talking, we've delivered Brexit. No, we haven't.
No.
Huge amount of regulatory change that would benefit people in jobs, in terms of investment, whole areas of business. The common ground is where they are. We need to occupy that, pitch our message to them. That's the majority of the public, people who left us, people who didn't vote for us.
But does that require basically a return to sort of common sense Thatcherism?
It requires us to become Conservatives again.
Yes.
And stop messing around.
That would be a start, wouldn't it?
I mean, you know, it's quite peculiar, really, to stand as a Conservative and then say, I don't really want to be one.
Yes.
You have to be a Conservative, and that common ground is where they will coalesce with you if that's what you're talking about.